Well, actually, that makes me happy. There was no need to put this wool into a bag because they use it as a bed, as bedding to sleep there. And as we can't sell it anyway, it makes a lot of sense that they distribute it a little bit. And it is soft for them to sleep on. And later this will become soil. So, bedding. Their own bedding. Very good. And as I'm here, so their water is now completely free. And over there, they have eaten up almost everything. I will go there and check it out in detail, but I believe tonight they should stay here and tomorrow they can go out. So there is still plenty of food here. This is the dry grass, but it is certainly food for them. So this is not like the other place where there is raw dirt, but they did eat a lot here, so they're not done, I would say. And here where I walk, it's now a lot softer because it's moist because of the irrigation. Nope, when I got wet feet, it's actually puddles. So yeah, they can definitely stay here for a day longer, and then it might be time to open these things, but on the other side. Over there. So it's quite interesting that we have some puddles there, but then the irrigation ran not long ago. That's that wobbler that throws over here, and also the other one from there. Let's look over the fence here. So there, well, you can't see it. There is one Paulownia, and to the left there is the other. So this here is the area where there are some holes, and in those holes there's water, and I stepped right into it. Let's see. So there, I can see the Paulownia tree right there in the center of the image. But I actually wanted to check on the one that said there on dry soil. Let's see how this looks now. So there it is. I can zoom in here. So let me do that. And this one looks like a happy tree. So it has the leaves erect. So that was just the first day. And of course the sprinkler does sit right next to it, right here. So this gets definitely wet there. So we will have a tree there. And you can see what is my intention with all this. So the tree will go up there and here, and in a short while I need to order these. There will be more here, and then you have those lanes here. So the berm and the swale, and to the left another swale. And in order to have some animals in here, be it geese or chicken, and also some D sheep that we have, they can help us that. They will basically go in those lanes, and I have this idea to use chicken wire and some metal sticks and make some very, very small, just a meter tall maybe, fencing that is not very sturdy, but for these animals that would be enough to create some, let's call it paddocks, some sectors, and then a system of doors that initially are simply pieces of, let's say, plywood that I can put and remove easily to give them access to a sector. And later this can be automated, so that there is something that goes up and down or swings I'm contemplating whether swinging is a good idea. It helps to let the bigger animals through, but up and down is a lot easier thinking about the vegetation. But then they are supposed to keep it short anyway, so maybe swinging is not a problem. But I need to think about this. But this is a little bit out, yeah, further out. But definitely, this is the idea. And here on this side, south, there should be the Paulownia trees to basically keep the sun away, and the shadow will go further and further the higher the trees go. And somewhere further down there should be more trees. The Paulownia certainly would do good on the berm. They don't like very, very wet feet, but on the berm that would be okay. And Paulownia trees can be used to have very quickly shade, or I can use them for chop and drop, because they grow so fast and they don't mind, they will come back. The sheep always stick together like that because of the flies. We did lose a sheep once due to flies. The flies laid eggs in her back, and then the larvae emerged and basically ate her alive from her back. So basically they got into the intestine from the anus, and then at some point it was too much and the sheep died. So flies are very, very dangerous animals. This should be good now to plant the watermelons that we have in pots. They are not big enough. There is irrigation. There is this wobbler that you see there in the center. And right here is another one. And we had watermelons here before, so it should work out very well. This time there are more nutrients because there's more biomass. And this will happen today in the very late afternoon when it's a lot cooler. First we need to have our siesta when the sun is high and powerful. This irrigation here works out very well. The Paulownia trees have the leaves erect. These are just 4 wobblers for the time being, but we will set additional ones after we have made the fence pretty and straight here on this side. And these wobblers, same system, same line, the one here, they will then be along the fence line and provide the water in both sides, on both sides. And on the right side there will be the Paulownia trees as a line. And more will then come to the right to eventually fill this whole place. But I think priority will have to set more trees in here for shade, and later we can do chop and drop and remove them and replace them with some fruit trees, so that this becomes a food forest eventually. But in plain sun, there's no shade at all. There's not a lot of fruit and salad and the other things that you would expect from a food forest to be expected here. So we need to create the shade first and deep soil, and I think these Paulownia trees are a good tool for that. And the reason, if someone wonders why I started here, it's because that's a completely open area and I have something in mind with regards to chicken. So the idea is I want the chicken to be in here by guiding them, and then I want to create some very simple fences out of chicken wire and some smallish metal bars that we can put into the soil with a hammer, and therefore we have little chicken paddocks, and also for geese, so that they can provide nutrients for the Paulownia trees as they grow. And at the same time, the geese take advantage of the grass and help that way also. And in here, I want to do the same, but it is a lot easier to do this in an area that is open and a little bit more accessible. But both things will happen, and the 24 Paulownia trees that I had in the first batch, they were just right to try this out and visualize in the field the idea. There's one tray missing because we planted the watermelons. In a few days, when they have established themselves, I show you how they look like. They are in the wannabe food forest. There's the first new participants there. We also got a new addition here at the hen house. We found some aluminium rails and made a metal sheet. Right now this is manual, so it goes like that. It's a bit heavy, but that's because of the metal. And then you pull it up, and now it is open and they can come out. And once I learn how to work with electronics, something I've not done before, then I can install the actuator that I already have up there, and then this is then finally automated. I can also mention, as we have these barrels now, this has chicken feed in it, and we got them on the sheep. So the big ones here, they have been €20. Because I still, it is too early for them. They are not interested. They have been sleeping in, basically. So we have these barrels here, and they are full with pig feed. It makes handling so easy. And well, I'll leave this to someone else who will come in an hour and provide them their food. Disturb them. So I better retract. Well, a big yawning. They do the very same thing. You come here, do this, and then you go away and you bring nothing with you because everything is on site. That's what I always wanted. And around here, at some store, we can find these used barrels for €20 a piece. So basically, if you have the right type of car, or in that case we had the trailer behind it, then you can just pick them up. The goose is getting bigger and bigger. The wings were tiny when she came here, when she was a little gosling. Now they're pretty impressive already. She can fly, but as with the chicken, they don't like it, but they can. And even longer distances. Think about the Canadian goose. We'll see. But this is her place, and they are territorial, so she has no reason to go somewhere else. It's not the water. I don't know why these 3 leaves look the way they are. But this one is also looking nice. They are making roots, and here is the water source, so it's definitely not that. But I saw this was another one, and the other one also initially looked like it were going to die, but it is now looking very nice. It's not this one here. The one I'm talking about is over there. The sheep and the horses and the horse are now out of this area, out of this lane where we locked them in, and I can now open this, and you see they ate up everything that they were supposed to. So this is now ready to regrow. This is a lane, so this is not a paddock, so it's not to have good pasture here, because the animals will trample it. But for the time being, it can develop as it wants. And here on the left we still have this old fence standing. It's because of the flowering plant that you see here. This is also a climber, and therefore we left this fence here. But interestingly enough, I think someone managed to move this climber here to the other side, and we can now actually remove the fence. So that's a very good thing. So thank you to the person who did this. Ja, Nummer 8. Genau. And she wanted to greet me. It's very nice. Ja, genau. So we can remove this. This is very good. And over here on the other side, in there is a Paulownia tree, but it's tucked away. I can see it, but you with the camera probably cannot. And there is another one. And the horse ate one Paulownia tree. Solo. Was able to remove this, reach over, and then he ate the one tree that I placed somewhere here. But that one there is the one that I thought is not going to make it, but it does. It looks very, very nice. I was worried about the soil condition here, because when I planted it, it was very, very dry. But then, right there is the wobbler. And this is maybe 3 meters in distance. And there is another one. So this area certainly gets wet, and you can see. So this tree will soon, when I get new trees, get a new companion on the other side, so that this works out. We did not collect the wool because we can't sell it anyway. So the sheep used it as bedding, and now it is pretty much distributed all over the place, and I think we can leave it like that. So this lane is now closed on both ends, so they can't come in here again, which means we can come in here and continue with what we wanted to do. And one thing we want to do is we want to straighten this fence and make it nicer, so that the lane and all this is then properly done. We will do a similar thing like on the other side, so a 1 meter high physical fence, and then the rest are the other elements. This works also for larger animals like cows and horses and so, because they will not jump over this. So at the end it becomes 1.50 meter high, just the same way as the physical one there. But We use this because it's the farmyard, but elsewhere there's no need. I would have done it the same way, but back then thoughts were different. And we have the other material. You might see those rolls there. So we have plenty of that. So this will go here. And then we can set more trees. So we can do this right now. And once the trees have arrived, then there will be a line of Paulownia trees here to provide shade. And later there will be more Paulownia trees on the inside to also provide shade. And the fruit trees will then come later. So my idea is to fill this up with Paulownia trees to provide the shade and the biomass and get everything really going. The existing fruit trees will hopefully then benefit from this partial shade that the Paulownias will provide, and then maybe we take one or another out and add a fruit tree. That is my plan for this wannabe food forest to become eventually a food forest. Because right now we have all the grasses and all the other things, but none of that is edible, and therefore it's not a food forest. As far as I understand it, in a food forest you can go forage, and I'm not a sheep nor a cow, so I can't eat that. And it overgrows everything else, because all these are plants that like to be in full sunlight. And when there is more shade, then others can exist. And those might be the ones that I want to eat.